met a client yesterday. It was quite a big client. They turn over about 150 million quid a year, right? Which is a big business. I think even if you do more than that, you'll understand that that's not bad turnover.
Yeah.
Right? But one of the key things he said he does, that he focuses on, is having conversations. He says they're the most important thing in his business, right?
Yeah.
The internal conversations he has should have a clear purpose, a quality conversation. Right? The conversations he has with his existing customers, the conversations they have with their potential customers are the most important thing. Now, these guys have got a massive marketing department, right? A massive marketing budget, a massive kind of turnover, this company. They turn over 150 million quid a year, right? And still, the only thing that they're really bothered about is having quality conversations with people. I know it's something that we've spoken about before.
Yeah, and I think it's one of the interesting things about kind of conversation stuff, particularly if you look at it kind of internally for a second, is the fact that it saves loads of times, and again, you get further quicker. Yeah, my old boss was really good at this. If there was a kind of a challenge or a conversation or a thing that came up, he'd kind of pull kind of his inner circle, kind of the 4 or 5 of us in, and we'd spend 10 minutes actually talking about and working on a solution to that particular problem. And I think, one of the things you see a lot of now is you see, I don't know what to call it, let's just call it reactive business ownership, because we all get thrown, we all have to make loads of decisions every day about kind of stuff. And you just tend to think, I'll just do that and just do that. And actually, if you could give that 5 minutes, that's all, 5 minutes of thought, you'd probably do something different. Or you'd get to a different solution or a different way. If you can then do that thought, but with some conversation, it changes everything again, because actually you get to sense check it, and you get different kind of thoughts, and that makes a huge difference to kind of running a business and the ideas and that kind of thing. But also, kind of from a selling point of view, that's where everything needs to start. And and it's you will learn so much more from one conversation than you will from just spewing out a load of marketing. If you can engineer a conversation with your target market in whatever format that is, you'll learn more about them, more about their challenges, more about how they see the thing that you solve. You'll learn about more about what they think about you and what you do, and and again, you're more likely to get to that sale. And I think this is a thing that people have. I think people have almost tried not to have conversations because we've got so many great tools, Facebook, LinkedIn, etc., where you can have conversations en masse. People have forgotten that they are tools to enable conversation, and have just gone into kind of smash and blast mode. And of course, it depends on your business. And if you're the sort of person that needs to, you need to kind of sell thousands and thousands of things a year, or conversation is difficult, conversation is perhaps more troublesome, but it's still not something that should be ignored. You should be trying to engineer a conversational approach with the people that you want to sell, because it stops you being a selling machine. But also, actually having some conversations with real people that you want to sell to will help educate kind of the rest of the stuff that you do.
It's that planning and that focus, that prioritization of conversations again, because not everybody, like nobody I know who runs a business, no matter what size it is, has all day to go around chatting to people.
Yeah.
Right? People just don't. So you pick your conversations, you understand who your ideal client is, who the people you want to have conversations with next, because that conversation will move stuff forward. Yeah. All the other stuff, you can build in processes and systems in your business that are scalable, that will allow you to spend the time having quality conversations with the right people.
Yeah.
There's that, it's that sort of thing. And I get asked, like, a daft question time, right? Somebody asked me on Monday in a meeting, like, well, how do I go about starting conversations? And I was like, we're having one. You just start a conversation. It's not a marketing tactic you have to learn, it's inbuilt.
Yeah.
Right? You know how to do, having a marketing conversation or a business conversation is still a conversation. It's still a person on the end of that phone or across the coffee table or at the networking event. It's not something you need to learn, right? Even on social media. Right, and social media engagement, it's a conversation. Twitter, for example, which is still one of my favourite social networks, right? It's because it's very conversational. You can literally reply to anything that you see interesting to the person and start a conversation. And that's the kind of thing, right? Ask people questions, start a conversation, say hello.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, and again, it all comes down to that. It all comes down to what's the plan, what's the strategy. Interestingly, these videos have opened up loads of conversations. There is, whilst it might seem like it, there is a point behind this sort of thing that we're doing. And it's a thing that we put out in front of the people that we'd like to see it, and we talk about stuff that we believe, we hope is useful and relevant to them. And actually, from there, people have come. Well, that's really interesting. What about that? Bang! We're into a conversation, to chat. And it's not a sales conversation. This is a conversation. This is two people kind of sharing thoughts. Well, what about And it's all part of it. It's all part of the grand kind of plan. And we're back into selling coffee. We're back into what is the thing that moves your business forward. And for most, not all, but for most businesses,
you can bring it back down to conversation.
It comes down, go and engineer some conversations. We used to do it, kind of back in the old days. I used to do what we used to call some pre-tendering. Because we'd sell something that that normally companies were kind of contracted in on.
Yeah.
And so actually you couldn't just go and sell it. So well, fine, but we've got a contract until the blah 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 blah. So at which point it's great because you just go and have the conversation. Hi Tim, understand that that's the case. Look, what would need to happen for us to be in the mix next time? And that's a lovely question because
that's a great question.
It's so unaggressive. It's not direct. I'm just kind of saying, look, I don't know if we can do that stuff, but look, when it is time. What do you do? And the conversation's open, and it is. That's a great. It's a lovely way to do it. Anyone that you want to sell to, find an excuse. And this is where kind of the plan gets in. And back in the day, I used to take people to cricket. We used to, because you just engineer, find out what they're interested in, engineer conversations. And I'm only there to really say, look, we have this thing, and I'd love to sell it to you, primarily because we've sold it to lots of people like you who do the same sort of thing. We know this thing helps your world. Great. That's kind of the premise for all this. What needs to happen? What can I do? And if the answer's nothing, well, look, great, fine. But that's either someone ticked off the list or it's someone I kind of keep tracking on. But you can't find that information out, and no one is going to respond to it in the same way if you don't do it via a conversation. And, that conversation can be online. It can be, it's that sort of thing. But start by targeting. And I know Tim does this. Start by targeting the amount of conversations that you have. And then see what kind of comes out the back of that. Because you can't control the rest of it. All you can do is put yourself in that situation to say, well, look, what would happen? Or how do I? Or, hey, Paul, look, you're right in my target market. Not necessarily these words. You're right in my target market. Can I buy you a coffee? I'd love to learn some more. Can I pick your brains on stuff? People like to help.
We said, I think, in the first season, right, we said people have forgot to ask, right? They've forgot to go direct in one of the videos, right?
Yeah.
People have forgot to just start a conversation. You could understand your target market, who they are, create some lovely content, get it super optimized, design your website, and wait for them to find it.
Yes.
Or you could start a conversation which may lead to you having this really cool bit of content that will help them.
Yeah.
The conversation comes first, I think.
And you probably need to know because content is so easy to create. And I'm definitely not saying go down and just create bucket loads of content, but having that stuff out there, for people to find is useful because when they do look after you've made an initial contact and they go and look for you, they can say yes, it is worth me having this conversation. He knows what he's doing there. But like I say, once you've had the conversation, it'll be it's something that can teach you what you need to talk about next. It's a bit like kind of
like these.
Yeah.
Right. These are just conversations that are content. Really, they're pretty much the only content I do, if I'm honest, bar little bits.
Me too.
But they're just us having conversations because we used to sit in this room or in pubs or in coffee shops or whatever and have these conversations anyway and go, we should record these conversations. So here we are with the lovely people from Lightmind who do it.
Yep.
Having these conversations. And these conversations breed other conversations because they create more questions. People ask us questions about the video. Even clients people who are already clients were referring to these videos, to ask questions. Oh, what did you said in this video thing about this? What does that mean for us? So that conversations are engaging stuff, and I think it is. I think what we've forgotten is the fact that we've got loads of tools, but those tools are there to enable conversation, not replace it.